Wilbur Soot was once known for his successful streaming career, his time on the Dream SMP, and music that has blown up in popularity over the last few years. But now he's under the spotlight for something much more sinister. Allegations of physical, financial, sexual, and emotional abuse have arisen, leading much of the internet to push for the deplatforming of Wilbur Soot. Before we can have a fair trial, we need to know the full story, which started on the 21st of February 2024 on Shelby's stream.
When I hear about physical abuse, I think of hitting. I think of hitting and punching. So I thought that this wasn't violent enough.
Shelby, also known as Shelby, wanted to share her experiences about an unnamed ex-boyfriend of hers that she dated between 2022 and 2023.
He had this habit of biting, which is so weird to me now, but he said that he had had this habit since he was a kid, and even his mom said that that was true. And he said it was just affectionate. And
Shelby had been in an abusive relationship. Her ex-boyfriend had started biting her. Now, some of the older fans here would know that biting isn't particularly strange. Some couples are really into it, and others not so much. In the end, a little bit of a consensual nibble is an abuse. But Shelby did know that.
And I had no problem with just biting. That isn't even the most uncommon thing. But he did mention something early that I should have taken as a red flag. And he wanted to make sure that I was okay with him biting me because he didn't want me to come back later and say that he abused me.
In the beginning, things did seem okay. Her boyfriend was making sure that she was okay. And as she said in the clip, she had no problem with it. Although his strange phrasing was a little bit suspicious.
And I don't specifically remember the actual first time that he bit me too hard by accident because I didn't think that it would be significant. I thought that it would only happen once. And he started biting me more and more over a period of time, sort of throughout the whole relationship. And accidents of him biting too hard and really hurting me happened more and more frequently.
Over time, he started to bite harder, to the point that Shelby was getting hurt and uncomfortable. And while he seemed apologetic at first, things kept getting worse.
I didn't like being hurt all the time. And I needed him to really stop biting so hard. I didn't like it, and I tried telling him over and over again because he asked him to stop again. This time he said, "This is who he is. He isn't going to change." Those were his words.
Things were getting very bad, but Shelby wanted it to work. The couple workshopped a safe word that she would use to help him figure out her safe boundaries, but that plan never really worked.
He had, now at this point, weaponized the safe word and was using it to ensure that I was hurt and on a constant basis. And he wasn't sorry anymore.
Now, you may have noticed that while this video is about Wilbur, Shelby has not specifically named him, and she was criticized for not naming her abuser, which prompted a tweet saying that there are a lot of reasons a victim might not name their abuser. Don't tell them it's because they don't want to. And she makes a good point, but it definitely prompts you to ask, how do we actually know it's Wilbur?
He lived in filth like I have never seen. And I've seen filth. This was the worst. He would spill things on the floor and never, literally never, clean them up. He got an ant infestation once and wasn't going to do anything about it because he said, bugs are normal in British houses.
Shelby left a lot of clues in her video, including a mention that her ex-boyfriend was English, and across different accusations of love bombing, poor living conditions, manipulation, and the physical abuse that I've outlined before. She'd said enough for the community to get an idea of not what the abuser was like, but who he was. Not Wilbur Soot, the musician or Twitch streamer and persona that we thought we knew, but William Gold. After a lot of speculation across Wilbur's subreddit about whether Shelby was actually talking about Wilbur, an investigative thread by Dangerous Educator 40 pinned Wilbur with extreme confidence. Long before Shelby's stream, clips had already been floating around about Wilbur biting people he was close to, and often saying things like,
"Tell them about how awful I am to you."
To me?
Yeah.
He keeps biting me.
Yep.
Are you just whispering while I'm streaming?
I can't hear you over the Hoover. What'd you say?
Actually, Will bites insults me sometimes, and I get so many bruises all the time from him fighting me.
After Shelby's stream, an ex-member of Wilbur's band Lovejoy also came out about the fighting. As for the ant infestation, Wilbur was reported to have one on Twitter while Shelby was dating her unnamed boyfriend. Wilbur yet again had shown similar characteristics in the past. He liked to assert dominance where he could, and often physically.
Do you remember on the first time I met you, I threw you?
Yeah, I remember. I remember that. I do remember. What?
Sorry, I need a bit of collaboration.
It was a consensual throwing. She was saying that she was big and strong, and so I picked her up and threw her.
Why would you need to consensually throw a woman? Let me tell you.
Your chat doesn't seem to understand why I would throw you, Nikki.
Why you would throw me?
It was to assert dominance.
So it had to be Wilbur, right? Fans had already had their pitchforks ready, but many were still clinging onto the hope this was just some kind of huge coincidence, that this wasn't Wilbur and that we were all wrong. But we weren't.
In the past week, a series of allegations have been made over my conduct during our relationship's final months. I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. I have come to realize how my past behavior hurt this person. I hope I can continue to grow and improve on this trajectory. Allegation of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject, this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain that I caused.
The full statement will be in the description, and before you judge me for what I'm about to say, please hear me out. Wilbur's apology, as I'll call it, was not received well, with creators like Dream and Shelby herself criticizing it heavily. A lot of the criticism was about how the apology was self-centered, which, to me, does kind of make sense. This was a crappy apology for William Gold, the abusive ex-boyfriend, but for Wilbur Soot, the brand and public figure, this is just damage control to him. What I'm saying that this isn't just a bad apology, but a badly motivated one. Wilbur was prioritizing his brand over his connection with human beings. So far I've covered the past of what has just happened, but not the final and terrifying stage that the community is in now. People hated the apology, they hated what happened, and they hated Wilbur. Fans were shocked and distraught, and content creators in his circle were cutting him out publicly. There was little sympathy for Wilbur, and he had potentially made things so much worse. Wilbur demoted all of his Twitch mods and gave the moderator role to just one person, Jebediah Springfield 12345. Who had been seen on Twitter for defending Wilbur, and happens to be the new owner of the Lovejoy Discord server since Wilbur left. Unconfirmed, it's heavily theorized that this could be Wilbur's alternate account, and either way, it's a bad move to have somebody with that name and public behavior to be in a position of power. Now, this could just be a crazy and horrible coincidence, but Jebediah Springfield is an actual character from Simpsons who has a rival town and a rival person and somebody that he hates, called Shelbyville.
Ugh, I just put a rock in your crummy town.
See the similarity with the names? It's a little bit strange. But this isn't the scariest of what I've seen recently, which would be the rabid fans. Wilbur supporters are an extreme minority at this point, especially with some of the extra stuff that has come up while I was recording this. So what I'm saying is a skewed perspective, but some Shelby supporters are getting a little rabid. Some people have become pretty tunnel visioned around their anger with Wilbur. They've almost forgotten that everyone in the world doesn't actually know as much as they do about the drama. For the sake of privacy, I'm not going to name names, but I have seen numerous random people, some of them are children, on the internet, get absolutely flamed online for enjoying a piece of Wilbur's content while being completely ignorant to the drama. These comments are not lighthearted or critical in the fair sense. Random people are being told to kill themselves because they enjoyed a Lovejoy song. A song that these haters loved just a week prior. There are people so blindsided by this situation that they are attacking everyone, even Shelby herself. And before I get my own set of death threats in the comments and on Twitter, and go ahead and do so if you feel so fueled to do so, I'm not defending Wilbur. All I'm saying is that harassing random people on the internet is not a constructive and healthy way to cope. People don't deserve the abuse and toxicity. If you really feel the need to say something, try to educate people instead of gatekeeping what you know about the drama. I hope that's not too much to ask, but you're angry at Wilbur, not random children. Anyways.
I have been sent horrible things since the first moment I spoke. the same people are not expecting the same of him to stop people from sending me porn, gore, death threats, and sexual assault threats.
Shelby discussed the situation on her own and on Lexi's stream just one final time to address the threats that she's received since speaking up, and also clarifying some details about her experience, such as the time frame that the relationship took place.
I said myself at the very beginning of my stream that the biting was not the problem. I was okay with being bit. I was not okay with being hurt. Even if it was just one time that he kept biting me after I said the safe word. In fact, multiple times biting me even harder. That is assault immediately. It is a complete abuse of trust.
I'll be linking all the VODs in the description, and I encourage you to listen to all of it if you want to be fully educated. But in summary, she explains a lot about herself, tries to educate some people about various things, thanks her supporters, and moves on to play Minecraft. And before I had a chance to film this video, Alice, another one of Wilbur's exes, came out to share her experiences from around 2019 to 2021. She made claims that she had a similar experience to Shelby, receiving love bombing, narcissistic tendencies where he would focus heavily on himself and his desires for fame and money, and she claimed that she often felt unloved, being unwanted by him, being made to hide in a corner whenever he streamed, and of course, she was bitten beyond reason as well. In 2021, she claims that he asked to meet her as a form of closure to their relationship, and she agreed, and then she was taken to a bar where she got extremely drunk. Wilbur then allegedly took her home and unconsensually undressed her while she was completely blacked out. Then, the following morning, he apparently got upset and called her a lesbian because she didn't show any interest in him. Wilbur's not responded to these claims as of yet, so I don't want to go too far into them. I'll do a complete update on the correction spreadsheet in the description if anything changes, but shortly after these accusations, the few remaining Wilbur supporters have started to drop off as well. Suspiciously though, Alice has decided to plug her socials after the big tweet, which is a bit of a concerning move, and that has actually hurt her credibility slightly. But in the end, we'll have to see how that turns out. By having the internet persecute Wilbur in their own way, a real lasting impact has been made pretty quickly. Wilbur has lost over 220,000 subscribers already. Although the fate of his online career isn't entirely certain, with the neglect that Wilbur has already been showing to his online presence over the last few months, it seems almost certain that his time as a streamer is over forever. I hope you learned something in this video, and I hope that you have become more educated on the situation. And if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment or see this video here